dancing to that theme music that I can't really hear because Steve puts it in later, but I'm anticipating. Hey, it's been a while, or it's been forever, because I don't even know if anyone's watching this. Hello. You're a bot, sit down. Anywho, this is F3G2, and we've been out for a bit because, well, we had the whole summer changing of hands with my teaching job, so my schedule got shifted a bit, and then we had, Big Sexy Dave, our cameraman, decided, no, he was bored with his normal, healthy living, so he should spend a week in a hospital because, 2
days.
Just
2 days.
It seemed like a week. We missed the whole week, so I don't care. If you as far as I'm concerned,
we missed 2 weeks.
Yeah, but the first week wasn't for you being sick. So therefore, it may have been 2 days in real time, but in showtime, he has been in the hospital for 2 weeks and nearly died. They've replaced most of him with cybernetic parts. And I think he's going to become the first Cyberman. Because he's not really cool enough to be Darth Vader. But I can see him walking up to people and just randomly telling them that they're going to be deleted. This makes sense. He deletes me every week right before we film a new one. So he's my own personal Cyberman. Okay, so we're going to jump right in with some comical books. First off, DC's shiny special event, Dark Days, The Forge. Whoa. It was really good, but look at this team. Snyder, Tinian, Lee, Kubert, Romita Jr., Williams, Jansen, Mickey, Sinclair. Really not a lot you could do to mess with that particular creative team. We get a lot of Hawkman. So I guess he's not as dead as the death of Hawkman implied. Which also implied that he wasn't as permanently dead as one would imagine.
Comics, more setback than anything.
But this has a bunch of reveals, and that's what makes me happy. Also, there's a great bit of just Duke, still in search of a codename Duke, versus Hal Jordan. That just made me really happy. But what's better than that is this has some hints, so we get a Hawkeye perspective, a Hawkman perspective, a Batman perspective, a Hal and Duke perspective. But what's really important is little bits that have been thrown back into continuity. Mr. Terrific is back from the other universe. He mentions, he figures out I'm going to be permanent. I don't know. I know that series is over. I don't know if he bothered telling anybody. Hey, I'm going back to my Earth now. The hell with you. But But yeah, he's back, and he has to talk about. They talk about it's time. We all agreed he was too unstable, that there was no end to what he could do if we weren't careful. But I'm going to need him for what comes next. It's time to let him out of the box. That's what Batman says, and of course, Mr. Terrific's like, damn right. And then they open up the box. Well, they don't open it; they just show us the box. That's plastic, man.
I thought so.
That box is plastic, man. I'm a happy man. But that's not alone. That's not even the biggest and bestest of reveals. Somewhere, if I can find it, I believe it's Hal and Duke who stumble across. Batman had before he started. Before the Justice League, before whatever. Well, look, this is Mr. Miracle. It's Joker. He's going to be a key part of this. But where is that one panel that changed my life forever? Oh, there it is. So he formed the first team, the first with many tasks with investigating all of this. So Batman knows this shit coming on. A team that could move outside Batman's usual realm of performance. A team that could work outside. Oh, hello DC Rebirth. Meet the outsiders. Oh, I want a book already. Look at them. Look at them. Look at the Metamorpho. Yay for Metamorpho. Look, she doesn't look vampiric. She looks relatively normal. Look, oh, I'm so happy. So, regardless of what happens with the main story, it's the little pieces. That's what I'm in it for. It's those little pieces. Similar lines. Secret Empire #4. Discussed. This isn't the series that it could have been. It's sales-wise, even at the store here, this not doing so hot.
Our discussion was rather lackluster on it last night.
Yeah, but I really liked this issue. This issue is basically an entire sit-down. Hank Ultron Pym has taken Cap's Hydra team and Tony's Underground team and forces them to sit down to a dinner in which he goes back and forth. At any given moment, he's convincing one side he really is Hank Pym, and the other side he really is Ultron. And he's okay with them believing both. So I think at this point he really is like a 50-50 mix. He's like a Hank-tron or Ult-Pym. But
we'll go with Hank-tron.
This issue, despite the fact, look, none of the words on here are Bendis. But Nick Spencer wrote a hell of a I think he out-Bendis. This was a really, really good issue of primarily exposition and talking heads, people sitting around a table, and even when it's over, both teams are like, oh shit, that was pointless. But you still felt, I really enjoyed the read, so I'm happy with that. Again, sometimes you got to let go of the bigger picture. Because we know it's comics. Every event is going to tell you this will change everything, and it will until like the next thing that changes everything, which in Marvel is probably the next issue, because Marvel just changes everything constantly to the point where I don't remember what anything is. DC changed everything and went okay, and then when they realized this isn't working like we wanted it to, they toyed with a convergent story and then said, you know what, we can do better than this. And they went with Rebirth, and they changed everything to not going, hey, we're not going all the way backwards. That's pointless. But we can fix some of the missing elements, so we can do this better. And they did. So I've done with, and I'm no longer I found with my comics, it's best to no longer look at the big picture. It's better to step up and go, you know what, this big overreaching thing is there's a lot, you know what, let me just focus right there. Yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. Flash, this was great. Reverse Flash has taken over post-Flashpoint. Reverse Flash is now filling the role that Psycho Pirate was post-Crisis. He remembers everything the way it was before. It's great. There's like such meta-ness. He's like, oh, I wonder what else got rebooted. And he's fighting Kid Flash and telling him, you're not even the real Wally West. There's so many great Thawne moments, and I love it. Suicide Squad, I read mostly because of the tie-in to Batman, to Superman, and then when I read the Superman, it turns out I didn't really need to read any of this because they rehashed the important stuff and tweaked the other stuff to fit their storyline better, so this was more or less irrelevant. New Superman, I really do love this book. I can't even put into words to you how much I love this book. It fills the void that Connor Kent has left. And I don't even feel like I'm cheating on Connor, because I'm 98.6% sure they've got plans for Connor as part of the whole, that's why they've done some of the trades they've done, and, they put a focus on Red Robin and Wonder Girl and Young Justice as trades. So I'm fairly certain that that'll be a key point. But in the meantime, the idea of a young experiment, he's not a clone, but he does have some Superman DNA mixed into there. But a young kid with part of Superman's powers who isn't a full Superman, but isn't, but has got it fills that void. And then you have the whole, to make it different, there's this, Chinese spin. We've got some more revealed as to, is our hero's mentor a good guy or a bad guy, or is he both? Because yin and yang are two sides of the same thing. We've got, China. I read a series of books in which they talk about the turtle god who's a turtle and a serpent merged. This gets to a tale of a serpent that fell in love with a human, but a turtle that fell in love with the serpent. So they all evolved into human through their chi.
Something freaky.
It's just something. It's just like Asian folklore has these kind of things happen a lot. But it's really, really good, and you should definitely give New Superman a shot. Scooby Apocalypse. We finally get to Scooby meet Scrappy, but from the coming solicits, we know that their fight is going to be interrupted as they have to do the old, oh shit, we got to team up to get out of this alive. But yeah, this started out, I loved it from the beginning, but it started where it had its moments of what's happening. But now, we're 14 issues in, we're past the year mark, and it's really found its footing, and it is no longer, a variant of Scooby-Doo. This is just its own Scooby-Doo, and it's working. Defenders #1. Most of the action happens off-panel, and we see the heroes dealing with the repercussions of that. Someone has targeted everyone they saw on Netflix so that they would have a reason to come together. And they do. I personally think they would have had a better reason to come together if they just realized, hey, we're street-level heroes. Every time we fight a threat, we go, shit, we should call, and we call the Avengers, and we call the Fantastic Four, and we find out that the Avengers are always off-world, and the Fantastic Four don't even exist in modern Marvel. So, fuck it, let's just stay together so we have a shot in hell of fighting something, because there's always something cosmic that shows up, and the writers have to justify why the big guns didn't just show up and kick its ass. But all in all, it's Bendis doing what Bendis does. People are talking, and it's good. You love these characters. I love these characters. So, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to stay with it. I also notice Jessica Jones has taken on a lot of young Miss Ritter's smirk and facial affect. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that indeed. Action Comics says, hey, Suicide Squad. We're just going to retell how that story ended because we don't need you. That's what it said. But much like the scenario I just gave for this, Superman's getting his ass kicked by Superman-level people. Metallo, Mongol, Cyborg Superman, Zod, the Eradicator, and I'm not even 100% certain who Blank is. But he's there and he's always mad. Who notices this on the news and decides, oh shit, we should intervene? Is it the rest of the Justice League? Is it the heavy hitters? No, apparently the only people watching that TV today are, by bizarre coincidence, Lex Luthor with his power suit, Supergirl, the Superman of China. Apparently the only people who happen to be around the TV were people who also have S's in their lives. But it's a Superman story. They had to justify it, and they did. And I'm digging all the Superman stuff post-Rebirth. Detective, this has such a great moment of something horrible is going to happen to Clayface. Whether they turn him back to a villain just to break my heart, or whether they kill him just to break my heart in a different way. Something horrible is going to happen to Clayface because they keep having these great hits the emotional mark, right in the feels
Great
moments
character moments
of and I can't trust that. So we have him and Orphan, him and young Cassie doing young Cassandra Cain doing not Hamlet. What are they doing? They're doing The Tempest and discussing, and even that is the heavy of the foreshadowing. They're discussing Ariel's part and how Prospero had promised, look, I need you for your powers, but I'm going to let you go when you're done. And Cassie's like, how come he doesn't want to let him go? And now that it's, because it's hard to let go of someone once you've learned to rely on them. And that's pretty much, are they ever going to help? Are they ever going to help Basil just be able to stay human, or is it just easier to keep him on as the monster they need? So you can see little hints of that coming. You got Penguin, you got Zatanna, and all sorts of horrible shit happening with Azrael's cult, and we get the return of, I forget his name, what's the little troll guy? Nomaz. Nomaz, the little troll thing that that used to be Asriel's like handler, is back in the fold. Bug, The Adventures of Forager, takes place during World War II. He meets the losers and the original Blue Beetle, Dan Garrett. This book is so great. It's Lee and Michael Allred and Laura Allred. It's just all Allred all the time. So many Allreds, and that's really what makes it perfect. We get time travel, silliness. It almost, at this point, it almost could be, even down to the outfit, it almost could be like Forager has become the madman of the DCU. Amazing Spidey. She gets a new suit. Uh-oh, it's Venom. Because she almost gets, they're fighting Mysterio. Mary Jane almost gets Peter killed because they're fighting Mysterio. Mysterio has made her see Annie, their daughter, in trouble. She's trying to save Annie and using it. He's like, I need you to ease up. I need the power. He's getting his ass handed to him. And it's all because she's draining the power, lifting a piece of train off of what she thinks is on top of her kid, but the kid's not there. Peter passes out, and she throws the train at Mysterio, problem solved. But nonetheless, she's like, I can't keep being the risk to my husband if I think I'm trying to help him. So she gets a new suit, but the new suit turns out to be the symbiote. Trouble ensues. Like it would. Copperhead is about to go on a break and leaves us at such a cliffhangery ending point.
Much like last time.
It always does. But the trade's going to be coming out next month, so the second trade, so get that, read this. This is this is sci-fi western. I love Deputy turned Mayor Boo. I love that man, that alien, that whatever he is. We meet our assassin. What? So good. Just read this. Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider. This whole issue, I think, was written to solve the problem of nobody liked the new costume. Because not only does this whole issue it addresses the main story, but it kind of takes a sidestep over here with this whole the casino run by the blackmailing kingpin-esque woman that is the latest part of Ben's plans for getting his hands on research and stuff, is held up by three people dressed as the variant. One's dressed as Spider-Man 2099, one's dressed as the Amazing Spider-Man, calls himself Friendly Neighborhood, and the other one is dressed as Scarlet Spider. They're the Spider people. They have some kind of name for themselves, and they're basically vigilantes inspired by the spiders. Friendly Neighborhood gets killed almost instantly. The others freak out, and when the one is like, "Are you the real the original Scarlet Spider? You're my hero," and then he critiques the costume in exactly Peter David, king of meta and whatever. He's like the critique of the costume is exactly stuff people have complained about on the internet. You're the real Scarlet, the real one? Yeah, why? Well, it's your costume. I mean, look at it. What's wrong with it? Well, first off, the coloring is a ripoff of Spider-Side, and I can see your mouth. It's all wrong. You're kidding, right? I just saved your ass, and now you're critiquing my costume? You know what? Fine. Give me yours. But it's my now. And then it ends with him calling the other guy a jerk, and he's back in his original costume. So, really, this whole issue was to get him back in the original costume, but he's back in the original costume, so it's very easy to forgive. Pitiful Human Lizard was so good. Pitiful Human Lizard number 13. This book is
This makes you happy.
it does. This book makes me happy on levels I can't even get into. Jason Liu does the story and the art. He's the creator of the character. He's basically a Chinese Canadian superhero he is pitiful. And in this issue, he's just come from his crossover fighting aliens where he almost died and just kind of left because he's like, I'm not up for this. His crossover in Captain Canuck, and he rides the bus home. The bus driver is Sam, the husband of Mother Wonder, and he's really trying to bolster our boy's spirits. And people, making fun of him on the bus dressed like this. But then other people start talking. It's really, and he's at one point he's talking, I don't know, maybe I should just give this up. And Sam won't let him, no, you mean stuff. You're my hero. My daughter thinks you're a hero. My wife respects you. You need to. So they have people. It's literally the best spin on the, like Spider-Man No More. Because by the end of this, he's not quitting because he's realized that it does make a difference. And it was just really, really good. Hulk number 7. I'm really liking this. It's been it's a slow burn. There's been action in some of the issues, but it's been slow build up. In this, the only real action is her letting off steam in a construction site that she, as Hellcat puts it, I love that you basically lawyered your way into a place to Hulk out. So she's going to a place that's set for demolition, and that's where she vents her frustrations by just breaking things as the Hulk. And now she's this green scarred gray Hulk. And she talks about how, I wonder if this is how Bruce felt. I'm still me when I'm the Hulk, but I don't feel like me. It's not quite a full someone else, but it's not quite me. And, like Banner always spoke of the Hulk as if it was someone else, because he and the Hulk had different viewpoints, different thoughts on things. And same.
Whereas she was always herself.
Jimmy's Bastards number 1. This is the book. James Regent is basically James Bond. He's a super spy, but there's a secret organization out to kill him, unbeknownst to him. That secret organization is out to get Daddy. It's all the bastard children from the various love affairs that this good-looking super spy has left in his wake, and they're sick of their lives having been ruined by undercover Daddy, who doesn't even know they're there. And it's Garth Ennis and Russ Braun. What else do you need? Harrow County, number 24. All right, it takes Lovey's ghost to set things right, as our two heroines have been at each other's throats because they've been played off each other, and it takes Lovey to set them right and get them back on task. But is it, maybe too late, because the rest of Emmy's family have come together, and they're like, kind of, they're like the white trash gods, so it's kind of tricky. Oh, no, I guess they're just the trash gods. They come in the various pigments, her family. But, you get my point. Grass Kings. Things are starting to come to a head as the Grass Kingdom's newest edition has the sheriff across the way and his town are not going to let it go. This book, for the art alone, it's like loose ink sketches that are just gorgeous. It's almost like watercolor doodles. It's beautiful. Read this. X-Men Blue, the last book in my list. If you're the displaced original X-Men, time-displaced original X-Men, what do you really need to round your team off? You need a dimensionally displaced son of Wolverine from the Ultimate World that no longer exists to really just flesh out your team. And now they've got him. Although he doesn't want to be called Wolverine. You are not calling me that. I'm loving the X-Men post, whatever the hell the last thing was, the X-Men versus Inhumans. I'm loving the whole new directions. And that's it. I'm out of books. I hope you can stand it. I did. See, because I have no chair. Goodbye, Internet.
Thanks for watching another video from Gonna Geek. If you like geeky stuff, check out our podcast network, our news and articles, and our community forums. You can find it all at GonnaGeek.com. Like us at Facebook.com/GonnaGeek. Tweet us at GonnaGeek. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at YouTube.com/GonnaGeek. And check out our live programming at GonnaGeek.com/live.